Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bragança in Portugal. If you were here for yesterday's video, this might look a little similar because we were just over here in Braga. I had originally planned to combine these two districts into one video, but I'm going on vacation. When you see this, I will be in Santa Monica, California with my bestie. So I was like, you know what, to make my job easier, I'm just going to split it into two videos. Less work for me to do, but maintaining my upload schedule. But everyone wins out because now we get to have a whole video devoted to beautiful Bragança. Much like Braga over here, this area is quite hilly, rocky, and a little mountainy. The traditional name of this region, which was like all over here, was called Trás-os-Montes, which I think means behind the mountains. So like the mountains going through here, and then there's the behind, I suppose, I'm not sure. Also, apologies if my Portuguese is terrible, because I really struggle with Portuguese growing up in California and hearing so much Spanish. Portuguese is tricky for me, so be patient with me. As you can see, we have a long border with Spain, which is pretty important to its history. And along here you can see the Douro River, one of the major rivers of Portugal. It flows out into the sea here. Was that all the geography I had for you? No way. Well, we'll look at more on Google Earth. There's national parks and things around here that we'll take a look at later. But why don't we talk about the history of this region? It's kind of unique to Portugal, I think. But, I mean, like other places in Portugal, I guess the early history is kind of similar. We start off with the Celtic peoples who lived in this area, calling it Bragança. The Romans would come and take over. I don't think there were any like huge Roman thriving cities here, but the Romans had control of this area nonetheless. Would eventually be invaded by the Visigoths and other Germanic peoples, and then eventually the Moors, who were a people from North Africa, or at least they invaded from North Africa, who spread Islam while invading up the Iberian Peninsula, capturing what they could. Now, like I also said in my Braga video yesterday, this area was recaptured in the Reconquista fairly quickly and became an important place for major battles of this land being taken and lost, taken and lost, taken and lost, back and forth. The city of Bragança was founded during sometime between the 10th and 11th centuries. And after the Moors were more pushed back and eventually pushed out of the entire peninsula, it was more of a conflict between the Castilians over here, in what's now Spain, and the Portuguese, and many battles were fought along the border here. And once again it was, they'd claim it, the Portuguese would push them out, the Spanish would claim it, Portuguese push them out, so on and so forth. So Bragança, as we'll see on Google Earth, was very heavily fortified with a huge, big old medieval style castle and a big wall around it. It's pretty neat to see. In the year 1492, all Jewish people were expelled out of Spain, and 3,000 Jewish people moved into Bragança here, where they were forced to convert to Christianity, and some I'm sure did, but many did and just practice Judaism in their private homes, right? Just Christian in name, just so they could have a place to live. However, the Duke of Bragança exiled all of the Jews out of the town in 1496, so not much long after that, and many Jewish people fled more north to like the Low Country or the British Isles. But some of the converted ones stayed behind. I guess the ones who refused to convert left once again. Now, I mentioned the Dukes of Braganza, which would lead to a dynasty known as the House of Braganza, which would eventually assume the Portuguese throne in 1640, and that family would rule over Portugal until 1910. And if you know your Portuguese or Brazilian history, you know that in the early 1800s, Napoleon and the French army invaded, and the royal family and many Portuguese people fled to Brazil, which was their colony at the time. When the threat was over and Napoleon was no more and they had their country back, the king came back, but his son, Dom Pedro, stayed behind to become the first emperor of Brazil. Brazil declared its independence, said, we're doing our own thing. We have our own emperor from the House of Braganza. His son, Dom Pedro II, would also become emperor, and he would be booted out so that Brazil could become a republic. But interesting that this royal family ruled over not just Portugal, but Brazil as well for a brief period. I think that's pretty neat. And from what I could tell, this is like a very chill corner of Portugal. A lot of the tourist websites were like, you should come here, promise there's things to do. And then it would list none of those things other than you can see the countryside, which is wonderful, isn't it? It's great to see the countryside, but it's not like, this is not like a huge tourist area. This is not kind of an area that the Portuguese come to for like recreation. When you have the Algarve just down there and you have Lisbon and Porto, so much to see in Portugal. So this is very quiet corner of Portugal. But there is one really neat festival that I read about that I'll show you pictures of on Google Earth, which is how they celebrate Carnival here in Bragança. If you don't know, Carnival is celebrated just before the start of Lent, which is kind of a 40-day fasting period in Catholicism, which ends with Easter. So you have one big party day, Carnival. Here they celebrate the burning of the devil with the carreto, which are these incredible costumes that people wear, and they jump out at people and jingle jangle in the streets, and they are magnificent. And there's some good pictures on Google Earth of these costumes, so I'm going to show them to you. I think we should just hop over there. Why don't we pop over to the tablets and check out this area on Google Earth? Here we are in Bragança district, and let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. We are up here in this extremely northeastern corner of Portugal. Here's Portugal bordering Spain over here on the Iberian Peninsula in Western Europe. You can see Gibraltar's poking out there toward Morocco in northern Africa. And there's the big Atlantic Ocean. So we're up here in this corner here. Let's start over here in Bragança. There we go. Slowly coming into view. There's the city. And here's the Castelo. And it is an iconic medieval castle. Like I said, it's got all of the fortifications and big old weaponry. My goodness, that's a huge cannon. I don't think they had that back in medieval times. That looks a little more modern. It's a pretty church, all whitewashed. Look at the old castle in the background there. Isn't that neat? Yeah, look at the wall next to the more like modern buildings. Like, these aren't modern, but compared to this, they definitely aren't. All the big stairs leading up here to the parapet. You can poke out from the walls and look down the city below you. Look at these walls. Remarkable. Old castles like this are so neat. Here, like if I zoom in, there we go, we can see the old wall here. There it is, protecting the castle. trying to think, was there anything else? No, contemporary. I don't think there's anything else in Braganza I wanted to show you. I'm really itching to show you these festival costumes because I think they're magnificent. I'm going to pull them up in my recent search here because I didn't want to get lost. And then it's not going to load, so then I tap out and then tap back in, and then it goes right away. There we go. Podense. Now here in this town we have a museum for all of these costumes over here. So we can see them all displayed. It's a big painting of one. So cool. And here they are. Look at how colorful. And all the tassels. And there's all kinds of jingle jangles all over. They parade through the streets, causing mayhem. Those are the best kinds of festivals where you get to wear a mask and parade around. Look at that big one there. It sounds like a lot of fun. This one's riding a donkey. Lots of beautiful street art there depicting them. A little tiny statue there. A very cool street art. Big bells on his waist. Some kind of tapestry there with one on there. And there they are in action. It's so cool. There's Cristiano Ronaldo. Just for funsies. But yeah, even if I go to the the national park up here, there's a picture of one, I'm pretty sure, in this slideshow. Let me see. Yeah, right there. Let's take a look. Montesino National Park. Let's look at the beautiful nature here. These hilly areas with old rocky churches, beautiful little streams, and old bridges over them. Little villages. You see, he's got a big old stick. What a fun little cultural aspect here. Only here. Wow. And big rolling green fields. Little way stations on top of the hills and mountains. Some beautiful street art there along the homes. Big beautiful lakes as well. Lovely rivers that you can stroll past. That sounds so nice. Let's go look at the Douro River. There's a national park there as well. Yeah, Portugal has a couple of very important rivers, and the Douro is very much one of them. Making its way through here in this big canyon. All very scenic and lovely. Big bridge across it. Some weird statues there. Old churches, old walls there. It's all very beautiful. Wow. Look at these rocks, how they're all jagged and cut up from, I'm sure, years and years of river flowing by. The cool old wall around this old fortification there. It's so cool. If you've lived in a place where there's old castles, I'm so jealous of you. If you live near an old castle, if you're in like Wales or France or somewhere, go visit your nearest old castle for me. Tell me all about it in the comments, okay? If you haven't been there in a while, go visit your neighboring old castle and tell me what it's like to live next to an old castle. So we don't have old castles here in the United States. I've seen Hearst Castle in California, but that's not an old castle. It's a new castle. And I think the only castle in the continental United States, besides Hawaii, of course. What else should I show you? I've found beautiful waterfalls over here. All the little villages have little slideshows. Here we go. Let's find some random things to look at. What's this? The Pontau stone? What's that supposed to be? Look at this, it looks like a bench. What? I wish there was a person next to it for scale. Maybe it's gigantic. Maybe it's a little bench. I can't tell. But yeah, let's see this. Could this be? It's a beautiful field of wildflowers. The lovely river flowing by. How nice this is. Some lavender, I think, by the looks of it. Oh, how peaceful. It's not like the most exciting corner of Portugal, right? But it has its own little quiet beauty to it. I imagine if you live here, you think it's very boring and humdrum and dull, but I'm telling you that there's no such thing as a place like that. There's beauty everywhere you go. Just zoom in on a random spot and find some slideshows. Minas. I thought that meant like mine. Like a mining area. But I could be wrong. Maybe that is. Maybe it's abandoned. It looks like it's all fenced off. Yeah, maybe it's an old abandoned mine. Some kind of factory there. That's pretty neat. I bet it's haunted. Bet you can go ghost hunting there. I think that is an old mine. Let's see this. The cascata, that means waterfall. Yeah, look at this. How pretty. It's almost like a painting. Oh, hold on. It's doing the thing where it's going to shut down. 1 second. Here it goes. Here it goes. There we go. I don't understand. Because there's nothing I'm doing. Let's go back to the waterfalls. There's a castle up there. Oh, I remember I was looking at that. I remember that. But yeah, beautiful little waterfall there in the distance. I was trying to say it looks like a little painting before Google Earth decided to shut down on me. Look at all the beautiful trees. Oh, wow. Off in the distance. There's like a little veil. All the clouds there on top of the peaks. The cool trail there. If I recall, this is an old abandoned Moorish castle, or what's left of it at least. Not much. An old fort, I'm sure, that the Moors built, trying to defend this land that they'd conquered. Their ancestors probably had conquered at that point. Let's see. Panoramico. Oh yeah, there's a lot of these. I found a bunch in Braga too, like swings on top of hills, so you can take your Instagram pictures there. There's quite a lot of them. Let's see what else. Let's find a couple more things to look at. And as always, I'd encourage you to, oh, there's a cemetery, encourage you to poke around here and find some neat things, or maybe if you've been here, you can tell me some neat things that you found that we should all go check out. Let's look at, oops, we're in Spain. This isn't in Spain. It's no pictures. There's a trail up here. I guess just a resting spot on the trail. If you're taking a long hike, you can spend the night safely there. I guess we'll look at some of these museums here in Bragança. Or the cathedral. We didn't look at the cathedral. Looks nothing like the old cathedrals that we saw back in Braga, does it? But isn't that lovely? Much more modern. Very cool. And let's look at, where were they? There we go. Let's look at, where'd it go? This one. This one. This one. This one? There we go. Christmas in Dreamland. Hold on. Is this where the Christmas market is? Wow. Oh, the little homes are so cute. It's such a quaint little place. Oh, there's ice skating there. A little Ferris wheel. Oh, there's a nativity. She's brought her baby to see this baby. Oh, they've got the little scoots to help you skate. I would need one of those. I do not. If it involves something being strapped to my foot, whether it's ice skates or skis or surfboard, I can't handle it. Rollerblades, I can't do it. It's strapped to my feet, I can't. A little train. You don't have a little Christmas area without a little kiddie train. You have to have that. And of course, big reindeer. Oh, this is the Christmas area of town. How special is that? Alright, let's look at the cultural museum here as we end this video. So thank you so much for watching Woodjet. Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. We've got a lot of things to see on Google Earth next time because we're going to Germany. We're going to see, if you liked these castles, oh boy, we're going to see palaces. Do you know the difference between a castle and a palace? Let me know. Also be sure to, oh look, there's one of the guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're still awake, and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. Why is there a random fighter jet here? This kid is running loose in this exhibit. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. Look at this town. And I hope that you have a good